Hello and welcome everyone to PW OnlyIAS English channel. So we are continuing with our Udaan free series for Prelims 2025. First of all, we are dealing with polity and today's lecture is on Preamble to the Constitution of India. In the series of lectures, I have so far taken 3 lectures for which a dedicated playlist has been created on this channel itself. If you are coming across this session as the first session of yours, you can look out for the playlist and you can watch the remaining 3 sessions also. Before we begin, a brief information about the PPTs, where the PPTs or PDFs are being shared. This is the official Telegram channel of me, Jatin Verma, PW Only IAS. You can scan the QR code or you can find the link in the description box below so as to subscribe to that Telegram channel so as to stay updated about my classes, be it on current affairs or Indian polity or other subjects for UPSC Civil Services exam. So let's get started with it. First question the UPSC has asked around prelims, or these are some practice questions that you can go through. Some of them are on the easier side and some of them are on the relatively tough side. According to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, social democracy means truth, justice, and loyalty. Then liberty, equality, and fraternity, care, responsibility, and loyalty. Loyalty, patriotism, and justice. So, what would be the answer to it? I'm going to take you through the questions first of all so that you get acquainted with the type of questions that UPSC might ask or has previously asked, so as to enable you to gain maximum out of today's lecture, guys. Now, democratic socialism aims to end poverty, ignorance, disease, and inequality of opportunity. Indian socialism is a blend of Marxism and Gandhism, leaning heavily towards the Gandhian socialism. Who said this? Administrative body, state high court, the high court, or the Supreme Court? Who said this? I mean, easily framed question, but you can gain at least what type of questions can be asked out of this. Who introduced the phrase in our constitution, the dignity of the individual? H. Himnath, then N. Gopinath, K. M. Munshi, Nalini. Then likewise, this question is there. The idea of justice, social, economic, and political, has been taken from which revolution? British Revolution, Indian Revolution, Russian Revolution, or French Revolution? Okay, so you would be knowing the answer, many of you would be. So if you know the answers or if you get to know the answers to these questions, do post in the comment section so that we can get to know as to how many of you are able to attempt these questions after having gone through the session or before the session. Now, match the following. Sometimes UPSC is asking the questions in the format of match the following questions. So, source of constitution, list 1, list 2, you have to match. It could be this also, it could be this also. You can practice it at a later stage. Let's quickly jump on to the agenda for the class. Preamble. What is a preamble? What is the purpose of preamble? What was the first constitution of the world to introduce the preamble to its constitution? It was the Constitution of the United States of America. Okay, preamble to the Constitution of India. It is like a brief introductory statement as to what entails, what is there in the Constitution. Like before you buy a book, what do? You basically go through the preface chapter. Ideally, we should go through, but in India, we jump onto the book on the basis of the feedback that yes, M. Lakshmikant is good. Okay, but otherwise, preface of the book gives you the introduction about what is there in the various chapters of the book. What will you gain after reading the book? That is the purpose. Similarly, what ideals, what objectives our constitution seeks to achieve or sought to achieve were put in the preamble to the Constitution of India. Okay, then this leads us to the question that there might be certain things which are there in the preamble, but maybe they are not as explicitly mentioned in the other parts of the Constitution. Yes, my dear students, this happened as recently as in 2017 during the hearing on a very important fundamental right, and that fundamental right was right to privacy, a contemporary addition to the very recent addition to the Constitution of India. So, our former CJI, who just retired, CJI D.Y. Chandrachud, he was then a judge of the Supreme Court, and he cited the text from the preamble to justify the incorporation of right to privacy as a fundamental right under Article 21 to the Constitution of India. Article 21 says right to life and personal liberty. Right to privacy word explicitly is not mentioned in the Constitution. Despite that, how could judiciary incorporate that into the Constitution or in the Part 3? See, judiciary can only interpret the Constitution. For it to interpret the Constitution, there has to be some base, some grain has to be there in order for the seed to grow, in order for the sapling to grow out of it, in order for the right to be given birth out of it. Any right to be identified needs some base in the Constitution. Can preamble be that base? As exemplified through the medium of right to privacy, yes, preamble can be that base. In our Puttaswamy case recently, can this case in the can this case, our Puttaswamy case, can this be asked as a question? In which of the following cases the Supreme Court declared right to privacy as a fundamental right? Yes. If they can ask Keshwananda Bharti case, they can ask Puttaswamy judgment also. Okay. In this Puttaswamy case, the Supreme Court said that in preamble it is written individual in the sovereignty. The word sovereignty means we, the people of India, are sovereign. We are the real source of power. Okay, sovereign or sovereignty means individuality also. Sovereignty has two sides to it. One, we as an collective entity, all the citizens, as we as an I as an individual have an identity. That identity gives me the right to privacy. So this is the importance of an otherwise theoretical looking chapter which seems very boring at times. But you see, how could this introduction to the constitution, the introductory chapter to the constitution called preamble, can be a source for identification of or gaining better clarity on various other provisions of the constitution. Okay, so my classes, polity classes, etc., they are going to start soon under the Titan batch, etc. So there I'm going to talk about it at an elaborative length, elaborative enough for you to understand all the nuances of it. Now, the hopes and aspirations of the people, as well as the ideals before our nation, whatever the hopes were there, were incorporated in the preamble. It may be considered as the heart and soul of the constitution. So sometimes these phrases are picked up ditto, like we saw in the question before, that how the preamble justifies this or that. Okay, now the preamble can be referred to as the preface, which highlights, or preface, which highlights the entire constitution. It was adopted on 26th November 1949 by the Constituent Assembly and came into effect on 26th January 1950. As we proceed along, we would also talk about the fact whether the preamble is justiciable or not. Can there be can I walk up to the Supreme Court under writ jurisdiction or any other jurisdiction of the court and say that, see, my lord, this is written in the constitution, please grant me this, give me justice, because it is given in the preamble. Justiciability of preamble was also debated in the Supreme Court of India. So we are going to talk about that also, but in a short while from now. Justice, social, economic, and political. Three connotations of justice. We, the people of India. So, this is for the collective entity. Having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a what kind of nation? Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Okay. So, some of these words were incorporated by the Indira Gandhi government. Some of these adjectives in the preamble to the word republic, they were not attached. Okay, so what adjectives are attached? Sovereign, comma, socialist, comma, secular, comma, democratic republic. Why republic? We know that we have an elected representative, even though he is elected indirectly, he or she, the president of India. Okay, even though he or she is elected indirectly, but elected representative, having an elected representative is but essential for a country, for a democracy to be called as republic. Simple. Okay, so this is there. Now, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, four adjectives. We, and to secure to all its citizens, we had we had in a way taken oath in a kind of way to give to all the citizens of this country this type of justice. What type of justice? Justice which is permeated with socialness, economic, and political justice. Okay, political justice, right to vote. We all have right to vote and right to contest elections. Economic justice, if you are working for 8 hours a day, you should be getting fair wage, not equal. Wage would be given according to the capability, caliber, qualification, but fair wages have to be given to Manrega workers also. Social justice, okay, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. You can think of anything. M.F. Hussain can paint anything, even the nude paintings of deities. Supreme Court had protected that right. Okay, so you can even draw the cartoon of the Prime Minister. That is your liberty. You can express yourself in the language you want, right? Liberty of thought, expression, faith, and belief and worship. If I believe that there is no God, it's my wish, it's my liberty, right? So, equality of status and of opportunity. Equality of what types? Status and of opportunity. When we go to a restaurant or a good hotel, 4 star, 5 star, 3 star even, okay, so outside it is written rights of admission reserved. So you may not be allowed an entry into it if the guard outside feels that you may not be able to pay the bill, or you may not be able to afford the hotel in that room in that hotel, sorry. Okay, so equality of status. But I deserve the right to entry if I can show him that I have 10,000 rupees, which is the tariff of the bare minimum quality of the hotel room. That room in the hotel starts from, let's say, 8,000 rupees. If I have 8,000, whatever shoddy, whatever shabby, whatever dirty clothes I'm wearing, I should be allowed the entry into it. Okay, so status, economic status, and of opportunity. Can I apply for UPSC? Yes. Can transgenders apply for it? Yes. Can lesbians, gays apply for it? Yes. Okay, so, and to promote among them all fraternity, sense of brotherhood, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. So in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November, 26th November 1949, this preamble was adopted. And we do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Done? Okay, so this is there. Now, sovereignty. Basic meaning is supreme power. What do we mean by word sovereignty? Here we are talking about sovereignty, each of the adjectives. Sovereignty means supreme power. The supreme power in a democracy rests with the people who constitute that democracy, who have given the constitution to themselves. The word sovereign implies that India is not under the control or authority or pressure of any outside force, but it is an independent state. It means that after independence, supreme power rests with the people of India because they are going to vote and elect their representatives. Got it? Socialist. Socialist pattern of society means that the basic criterion for determining the lines of advancement, we as a nation would have to make economic advances, social advances, progress. Lines of advancement should not be private profit but social gain. Okay, private profit means we initially did not have the right to property. We had it as a fundamental right, but we deleted it. Now, fundamental right under which was there under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause F, was later on deleted as the fundamental right, and it was transferred as a mere constitutional right under Article 300A of the Constitution. Right? And even before that, in the preamble, we had written it this in this manner because of the lessons that we learned from the British rule, that Private profit would lead to a handful of jamindars, very rich, very wealthy, but it will deprive the masses, the actual tillers of land, of their toil and hard work, of their sweat and blood's remuneration. They won't get it. So that is why we did not want the private profit as the guiding factor for lines of advancement of our country. That is why we had public sector enterprises. Let me take a pause, let me take a breath and tell you, whatever I am saying here is not for mains. Ever since the change of pattern, my dear students, 2011 onwards, we are seeing questions which are testing you on the basis of your clarity of the topic. Many of you must be thinking that this is quite longish or something, but yes, everything said in this lecture, the articles that are written can be linked with the preamble question on something related to preamble. Okay, so be very, very attentive, write down these minute details. Maybe you are an expert, or maybe you have read M. Lakshmikant twice or thrice, but I'm sure some of the examples, some of the interlinkages that I'm trying to draw between the text and the newspaper context, the current affairs part, may not be given in the books. Not only Puttaswamy judgment, etc., but the other things that I'm saying. Okay, so public sector enterprises we had set up. Why? Because we wanted the temples of modern India, as Jawaharlal Nehru said them to be, to guide the to take forward the idea of India's advancement. Steel, BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, so many public sector enterprises were set up, right? So IITs, colleges, thermal power plants, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, likewise. So, and that the pattern of development and structure of socio-economic relations should be so planned that they result not only in appreciable increase in national income. Okay, structure of socio-economic relations should be so planned that they not only result in just increase in the GDP, increase in the national income and employment, but also in greater equality in income. Okay, so the Varna system should also get eradicated. We should have economically weaker sections, but we should not have socio-economically weaker sections. What is the meaning of it? Meaning is that your social tag, your caste, your social determining factor should not be the factor to hold you backward. It could be your economic inability, your lack of hard work, your inability to do that kind of hard work that might hold you back. But just because you are born, someone is born in a particular caste, the social factor attached to his or her birth should not be the factor holding him back, the reason for which he is lagging or he or she is lagging behind. Okay, so socialist pattern of society means that basic criterion for determining the lines of advancement must not be just economic profit but also the social gain. All of us should have 3 times meal a day. All of us should have roof above our head. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana now. Okay, so these some of these ideals enshrined in the preamble were there in the fundamental rights. Some of them have been uh, kept for a later date in the directive principles. And as we are proceeding in economic sense, in terms of national income, $5 trillion economy, etc., we are translating them into directive principles of state policy into fundamental rights. Bare minimum nutrition, directive principle given in preamble also somewhere, hidden between these lines, translated into an act now, a legal entitlement now. Secular, the principle of separation of state from the religious institutions. In India, we have positive concept of secularism, whereas Western democracies have negative or exclusivist concept of it. Okay, so Western democracies, the I had explained it in the other day's class that Western democracies, US, Europe, etc., they have negative connotation that state cannot support any religion whatsoever. Okay, so SR Bommai case 1994, Supreme Court held that secularism is an integral part of the Constitution's basic structure. Republic, a state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives. Republic means a state in which the supreme power is not held by any king or queen, Elizabeth or Prince Charles. No, we don't have that kind of luxury now. People have to prove themselves, they have to gain the people, the representatives have to prove themselves, they have to gain the people's confidence in order to remain in office. Okay, so we should have elected head. That is why even the president of India is elected. Okay, so Saudi Arabia is an absolute monarch, crown prince, but in India we have republic leader, representative of public, republic. Okay, democratic polity is based on doctrine of popular sovereignty. People are the sovereign, people are the ultimate source of power. So power of ballot. Okay, periodic elections, democracy. Okay, nota, we don't want that kind of those kind of criminal candidates. Gradually we are deepening our democracy, even though democracy should also entail periodic check on the power of the elected representatives. If they happen to go adrift, if they happen to go amok their elected mandate, their mandate that they have got from the people, they indulge in corruption, then we should have the right to recall, we should have referendum, so that farm law bills, if they are ill conceived, if they are not that well deliberated upon, they could be referred to the public. If public doesn't want them to be the way they are, they should be redrafted. Again, they should be put to the vote of the public, and then finally they should be introduced in the parliament. Consultation with the public, like draft IT rules recently have been uploaded on the Ministry of Electronic and Technology website. Okay, likewise, democracy of two types, direct and indirect. In direct democracy, people exercise their supreme power directly, as in case of Norway, uh, other smaller countries of Eastern Europe, okay, Sweden, etc. Those are very small countries, hardly 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh people. India is a country where 5 lakh kids are born, even as we are talking of right now. Okay, at least 10, 15 lakh people would have gotten their 18 years of universal adult franchise right today. They might be getting their right to the voter ID card made even as we are talking. So direct democracy is not possible in a country which is of the size of India. So that is why we have indirect democracy, where we choose our representatives for 5 years and let them govern our lives. Okay, so Indian constitution provides for representative parliamentary democracy. What is the meaning of parliamentary democracy? I have already explained it to you. Parliamentary form of government. Government is chosen where the government is decided on the basis of political parties majority in the parliament. Done? Now moving further, justice. The term justice in the preamble means three distinct forms of justice: social, economic and political. Okay, so justice. Social justice means what? Social justice means, pardon me for the background noise, you're taking classes from the home. Social justice means social, you should not be victimized. One individual should not be victimized just because he belongs to one particular strata of society. He should not be barred from entering a public office, be it of an IAS officer, of an MLA or an MP, just because he belongs to minority. He belongs to, with due respect, scheduled castes. He belongs to scheduled tribes, OBCs or women. Okay, even the son of any peon can aspire to become an IAS officer, IAS topper. Even the chai wala can aspire to become prime minister, with due respect to the audacity of hope of our great prime minister, right? So everybody is great though, but yeah, just that he is the prime minister, so being a little plausible about it. Now, plaudible rather. Now, political justice implies that all the citizens should have equal political rights. Okay, equal access to all the political offices and equal voice in the government, right to vote, right to give your feedback, give your consultation whenever sought, or otherwise also you can comment on the policy documents, or wherever you have a free voice in terms of political arena. I can go to any news channel to present my views. I can start my own YouTube channel to present across my views as to what do I want. I can comment on any Facebook post of PM or tweet of Prime Minister that I want this or I don't want this. Likewise, I can contest elections myself. I can start my own political party. Things like that. Fundamental Rights Article 14, commercial codes, fast track codes for politicians. Okay, so the other day's class I had explained you in the current affairs daily news analysis that how fast track courts for politicians is a violation of my right to equality. Why my case, if any, pending in the court should not be heard in a fast paced manner? Why that privilege only to the political representatives, the biggies of the political world, the big netas of the political world? Okay, so likewise, Article 38, state to secure a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. So social justice, identify the articles that are talking about political justice. Article 14, Article 15, Article 16, Article 17, Article 18, right? Untouchability, 17, okay, 18, abolition of titles, 16, right to equality in the matters of public employment, 15, prohibition of discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth. So you can write down these articles all at one place, which signify or which seek to achieve the objective of political justice. Article 38, social justice, state to secure such a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. Now, it means absence of privileges being extended to any particular section of the society and improvement in the conditions of backward classes. Done. Now, economic justice denotes the non-discrimination between people on the basis of economic factors. It involves the elimination of glaring inequalities in the wealth, income, and property. A combination of social justice and economic justice is known as distributive justice. Can this be asked as a question? As I said, I having made these PPTs myself, I cannot claim them to be considered as a every word should be considered as a gem or jewel in this. But yes, I have been very careful while incorporating these things, even though static portion does not require this to be covered. But UPSC is asking these questions in a very dynamic manner. Trust me, every year after prelims, having taught through these PPTs of mine, I've gotten a lot of messages on my Telegram that, sir, thank you. The way you taught us these topics, I was able to choose all the correct answers in the polity section, 11, 12 questions. That translates into 22 marks. Okay, even if you are able to save three negative questions from getting wrong, okay, so you are in a way going closer to the cutoff. So take it that way. What do we mean? What do we need to combine? Social and economic connotation of source of income, source of status, that translates into distributive justice. Okay, or redistributive justice. We are taking what is redistributive justice? Example of redistributive justice: land reforms, taking the surplus land from the jimindars or uh, sahukars of the British era and distributing it amongst other sections, the landless laborers, tillers of land. Now, equal protection of laws in equal circumstances. It is a positive concept. We are talking about social economic justice and social justice and political justice. Okay. As a logical corollary of this, if circumstances are unequal, unequal treatment could be provided so as to create at least a semblance of equality. For example, Nirbhaya rape victims, perpetrators, Nirbhaya rape convicts. So one of them, while in jail, was interviewed by BBC channel for BBC documentary guys. So he said that he was asked, why did you do such a heinous crime of, you know, beating that girl with a rod or inserting rod in the sensitive parts of her body? Okay, why so? Though it looks very awkward talking about it, but try to capture the essence of it. What I'm trying to say is that he said this kind of a domestic violence of beating the women or of ill treating women, of abusing the wife, he had witnessed in his village when his father used to thrash his mother like anything in the similar manner. Okay, taking it one threshold above, he meted out that crime to that against that lady Nirbhaya. It was nothing new to him. He was unlettered. Can those grounds be considered in the judiciary for giving some relaxation in punishment? Yes. Because he was not lettered, he was unlettered. He was never able to get the fortune to go to school. He was from Bihar. Thanks to the corruption in regime, thanks to the failure of the state to not being able to teach its own kids, and later on they grow up as animals, some of them at least, it is the state's fault. So that person should be given relaxation in punishment, is what this equal protection of law in equal circumstances is saying. Okay, if a mother is pregnant and she ends up committing some crime, or by the time her hearing comes, punishment is given to her, she is pregnant, she's got a baby in her womb, should she be incarcerated, should she be sent to the prison? No. Okay, so that kind of equal protection of laws in equal circumstances. The real justice is when, that means it boils down to real justice is when statutory provisions are tilted in favor of the disadvantaged sections of society. The doctrine of equal protection of laws in equal protection says that law has to bend in favor of the relatively disadvantaged. Okay, if here it is Salman Khan, and if it is on this side his driver, who is the witness against him in the black buck hunting case, if the driver is unable to appear as the witness because of a threat to his life, his statement would be taken at its face value that yes, Salman Khan's bouncers would have threatened him. Just an example. If he says that, if you appear before the court, in this matter, Rajasthan High Court, he appeared once, and later on he eloped for 3 hearings. He did not appear for 1.5 to 2 years. Out of the blue, one fine day, after 2 years of gap, he made an appearance on NDTV interview with some press reporter. He said that I was under the threat of being killed. So that is why I did not make an appearance. Rajasthan High Court could have punished this guy driver, but the law tilted in favor of him because looking at the being human, it could be well imagined by the court that human being must have been at mercy. What's my point? So, being when you are messing up with being humans, human beings have to be given some luxury of justice, equality before law. So, state shall not deny to any person equality before law or the equal protection of laws within the territory of India. We'll understand equality before law in our lectures. Likewise, Article 14, as I said, 14, 15, 16, these things are there. Okay, now coming to how the preamble has evolved over the years since our independence. Okay, Supreme Court highlighted the importance of preamble in A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras, 1950. Okay, so in Berubari case again, what are the now how the question will come? Okay, let's take a break of 15 seconds. It seems that I've been very fast, even though many of you would be watching it at 1.5x or 1.75x, but I have to take care of equal protection of lectures and equal circumstances. Some of you might be slow. I too need a breather for 10 seconds to recollect my thoughts and to teach as passionately. Any doubts you can ask me quickly? Let's get started. Okay, how can the question be asked? Which of the following cases deal with evolution of preamble? A.K. Gopalan, the very first day. Okay, can things given in the preamble be resorted to by the state to bring about justice? This was the question. Redistributive justice, social equality. Those principles of preamble, social equality, etc., were used by the state. Okay, were used by the state of India, I mean Jawaharlal Nehru government, to take away the land, surplus land above the land ceiling fixed by the then government and distribute it to the poor people. Okay, then Berubari case. Supreme Court said that preamble throws light on some of the vague principles. The principles that are enshrined in the Constitution may not be as clear and succinct as some of them in the preamble. So preamble can be resorted to understand the true meaning of the text given in the constitution at certain places. Now, wavering stance. Despite this, Supreme Court held that preamble is not a part of the constitution. Okay, sometimes preamble is a part of the constitution, so it has been, Supreme Court has been sometimes wavering in its own verdicts, jurisprudence, sequence of judgments on a particular topic over the years 1950 to today 2017. This wavering stance, okay, this evolution of justice or judgments of the Supreme Court, string of judgments, is called jurisprudence. Okay, so we can say that Supreme Court in its jurisprudence on preamble has been wavering in its stance. In Keshwananda Bharti case, changing its stance, Supreme Court held that preamble is a part of the Constitution. Supreme Court went on to say that Constitution should be read through the prism of the preamble. Okay, constitutional provisions, prism of Constitution, you can write it preamble. If these constitutional provisions, let's say Article 300, etc., are not clear, we have to go through the preamble. We have to pass these rays, or we have to understand these provisions through the preamble. So then we'll be able to see the true meaning of them. Got it? Okay. So finally, Supreme Court said that Constitution should be understood through the prism of preamble. Now, preamble being a part of Constitution doesn't mean that it is justiciable. What do we mean by justiciability? It means enforceability. Preamble is not enforceable. That means you cannot go to the court and say that enforce my this right. Enforce this because it is given in the preamble. Social justice, economic justice, political justice, likewise. You cannot go there to go to any bench of judiciary, be it district court or high court or Supreme Court. Constitution 42nd Amendment Act inserted the words socialist, secular, and integrity. These three words were not there in the original preamble, original text of the preamble. So sometimes the debate arises in the political arena. Amit Shah, sir, now the Home Minister, before the 2014 elections, during his electoral campaign, he said that we will delete these words socialist, secular, and at least these two words, not the integrity of India. Okay, so can these two words be deleted? Then the debate had arisen. Debate arose, can these two words be deleted at all? The answer came, we will see the answer also in the newspaper editorials. I have incorporated that. Okay, so now this is the evolution. First of all, the judgments, and then the constitutional amendment, and then LIC case 1995. Supreme Court again reiterated the same position that preamble is an integral part of the Constitution, but preamble is non-justiciable part of the Constitution. Today, the position is that in the right to privacy judgment, Justice Chandrachud of Supreme Court cited the preamble as one of the sources apart from Article 21, in which from which right to privacy can be thought to have originated. Okay, can be imagined. Article 21 is there. Personal liberty means somewhere connotation of right to privacy is there. Apart from that, sovereign, the word sovereign in the preamble was also amplified. Previous year mains question, discuss each adjective attached to the word republic. Sovereign, socialist, democratic republic in the preamble. Are they defendable in the present context? UPSC mains 2016. Okay, so India has got positive concept of secularism or pseudo secularism. Comment. This is the question by me, practice question. Then, how far have we been able to achieve the ideals enshrined in the Constitution? Do you think that the value of preamble has been reduced to a dead letter? Okay, now prelims previous year questions. Economic justice as one of the objectives of the Constitution has been provided in the A. Preamble and fundamental rights, preamble and directive principles of state policy, C. Fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy. This was the question asked in 2013. Now, in the Constitution of, okay, the answer to this question is big question mark. You have to answer. Label it as question number 420. If in case you do not answer, it is 420, section 420 of CRPC on your part. Okay, 400 PC in Hindi. And in case you answer, label it as 143. That means I love you, right? So just label it as question like this wise. If in case you answer 143, then this is question number 144. In Constitution of India, promotion of international peace and security is included in 2014 question. Promotion of international peace and security is included in, please answer. A, B, C, D. Okay. Now, amendability. In Keshwananda Bharati, 1973, Supreme Court was petitioned that preamble whether it can be amended or not. Because Indira Gandhi government had amended it in 1973. This question came up before the court. So can this be amended? The Supreme Court said that this is how it said, even though preamble is a part of the constitution, it can still be amended under Article 368. Since it is a part of the constitution, so it is subject to Article 368. But those provisions of the preamble, which are a part of the basic structure of constitution, are also a part of non-touchable articles or provisions. That means Parliament cannot touch them, amend them under Article 368. So even though Amit Shah sir had said that preamble cannot be amended, but now, thanks to this thing, preamble can now be amended. Okay. Now, provisions of preamble which are a part of basic structure: secularism, sovereign, socialist, democratic, republican structure. Okay, secularism, sovereign, socialist, democratic, republican structure. Social justice. The concept of social and economic justice cannot be diluted. Okay, so in January 2015, a controversy erupted related to these words, that BJP wanted to delete these words as a part of their electoral campaign only. They did not bring about any amendment, etc. Okay. Now, mains oriented analysis, this we are skipping out on for now. Why? Because this is a part of mains only. Though I have incorporated it for your better understanding, PDF will be uploaded on the Telegram channel. Jatin Verma sir, they have put, so I am using the word sir. Jatin Verma sir, PW only IS, so that it becomes easier for you to find out the channel with the correct name. Okay, the link is given in the description box. Now, is our polity again the mains oriented topic? We are skipping out on this also. Okay, whole mains oriented analysis. This is how I would be teaching in the classes also. Now, this was all. If you have any doubt, please feel free to put it in the comment section below this YouTube stream. I'll be happy to help, or you can reach out to me on the Telegram channel also. Better would be to go through this YouTube thing, because YouTube comments are static. We can see them at one snapshot. Telegram, many people keep on writing things and the message will go upwards, which sometimes becomes difficult to scroll upwards, right? So that was all. The next lecture, again, another topic will come. Tomorrow being Sunday, there may be no class. Still, I'll check with the team. I'm recording the lectures. I'll try to put it up to share the recorded lecture with the team. But if in case it does not come, do not panic. Do not panic. Keep revising. There will be enough number of questions that I'll provide you on the Telegram channel to help you stay the course, to help you continue with your studies. Okay. Current affairs class, I'm taking on this PW only IS English channel. So you can, if you want to watch the daily news analysis of the Hindu and Indian Express, you can subscribe to this Telegram, this YouTube channel. You can follow my lectures over there, and some of the sections of the upcoming batches in the Titan batch, etc. I'm going to take. So there also you can find my content, guys. It was really a pleasure teaching you, inserting some new life into these static topics, so that you guys stay the course and study in the right manner insofar as this dynamic subject of Indian polity is concerned. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice time ahead. Have a nice weekend. Thank you, guys.